Good morning. Today we are continuing to work on our percentages. Today we're doing CO35. I can find a percent of change. So it's just building on what we've already been doing with our percentages. So perhaps you've encountered one or more of the following situations. Let's say last year's 8th grade class had 60 students and this year's class has 54. What is the percent of increase from last year to this year? Or the total snowfall in winter of last year was 48 inches, but maybe this year it's only 32 inches. What is the percent of decrease from last year to this year? Or let's say a bottle of Mountain Dew in 1998 was only 99 cents. But last year in 2021, that same 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew sold for $1.89. What is the percent of increase in price? Or we could say the original price of an 8 gigabyte iPhone in 2007 was $600. But today you could buy that same iPhone on eBay for only $20. What is the percent of decrease in the price? So we're going to be working with both increases and decreases with this formula that we're going to go over. So before we did that increasing and decreasing, we did the adding and subtracting, and there was just a little bit different. But with this formula, we can do them both with the same exact formula. So to answer the questions like the ones above, we can use the formula, the difference between the values. So when we subtract, we're always going to put the big number first and subtract out the smaller number. So it doesn't matter in the problem which number came first. We're going to put the big one first, subtract out that smaller one, and then this is key, we're going to divide that by the original value. So that's the first number that was given. So this is how it's going to look. If we look at our students, last year there were 60 students. This year there's 54. So I'm going to put my big number first, 60 minus 54, and I'm going to divide it by the first number that was said, which in this case would be 60. There were 60 students last year, so my original number was 60. So I'm going to do my math. 60 minus 54 is 6, and I'm going to divide that by 60. So I'm going to put that into my calculator. 6, the top number, numerator, 6 divided by 60. That gives me 0.1, and I'm going to turn that decimal into a percentage. So 0.1 is the same as saying 10%. So there was a 10% change from last year to this year. It was a percent of increase. It increased by students by 10%. Sorry, this one decreased by students. I was looking at the wrong problem. So the percent of increase, whereas percent of decrease, we went from 60 students down to 54. It should say decrease because we decreased students. So I wasn't wrong. The question was worded a little goofy. It says, what is the percent of increase from last year to this year? But we decreased students. So we went from 60 down to 54. So our decrease was by 10%. If we look at our snowfall, last year was 48 inches. This year is 32 inches. So that is my bigger number first is 48 minus our smaller number, 32. The first number that was given to us was 48 inches. So that is my original value. 48 minus 32 is 16. And our original amount of 48. So I'm going to put that into my calculator. 16 divided by 48. And when I put that in, I get 0.33. I'm going to round it to that hundredth place because we want to turn it into a percentage. Now I know up here Mr. Schultz said round it to the nearest tenth. We're going to round it to the nearest hundredth to make sure we get those percentages, because percent, remember that hundredth place is key. So if we have 0.33, we know that is 33%. So there's a 33% of change from last year to this year, we decreased by 33%. So now we're going to look at our Mountain Dew bottle. Back in 1998, it was 99 cents. And in 2021, it was $1.89. So we're going to go with our bigger number first, $1.89 minus 99 cents. And we're going to divide it by that original number that we were given, which was 99 cents. Because back in 1998, it was 99 cents. So let's look and see how we work this out. $1.89 minus 99 cents is 90 cents divided by that original value of 99 cents. So 0.9 divided by 99 cents gives me 0.91. So we started at 99 cents and we went up to $1.89, which is a 91% increase. So we increased by 91%. Oof, that was a big jump. So let's look at our iPhone. The iPhone originally was $600 and now it's only $20. So we put our bigger number first, 600 minus 20, and we're going to divide it by the original value, which was that $600 it was back in 2007. So 600 minus 20 is 580 divided by the original price of 600. 580 divided by 600. We're going to round it to our nearest hundredths place, so that's 0.97. So there was a 97% decrease in price. So going from $600 all the way down to $20 was a 97% decrease in price. So for the Mountain Dew, it increased. For the iPhone, we decreased in price, but we used that same formula either way because we're just looking for the percent of change. Doesn't matter if it was an increase or a decrease, we're looking at that percent of change. So same formula for both the increase and the decrease. So let's look at what our homework is going to be for this. It is just this one page. Lucky us. Again, he wrote that it should be to the nearest tenth, but because we're working with percentages, we want to go to the nearest hundredth. So you're going to round to that hundredth. Please note that it says show your work. You're going to put what you're subtracting. You're going to put the calculations that you're putting into your calculator and circle your final answer as a percentage, not as a decimal. Your final answer is a percentage because we're finding the percent of change. We're not finding a decimal. So our final answer needs to be as a percentage. You're going to do that same math that we did up top. So if we look at how we're going to set this up, I'm going to say my original price was $120. The new price is $150. So I'm going to take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number, and then I'm dividing it by the original. So always make sure you're dividing by that original price or the original number. So 150 minus 120 would give us 30 divided by 120. Your final answer, you're going to convert to that percentage. So if you get a decimal, you're going to round to the nearest hundredth so we can convert it to our percentage easily. The one I really want to point out to us, these last two, are going to be a little bit different than what we've been doing. We're still going to do the big number, 1,100 minus our small number, divided by the original of 500. But you'll notice 1,100 minus 500 gives us 600 on top, and we're dividing that by 500. So this time our numerator on top is bigger than our denominator. So when we divide 600 by 500, we get a 1.2. So you're going to have that whole one there, a whole number in that ones place. So remember what that means when we convert it to a percentage. We're going to want to put our 0 in the hundredths place. So when we convert to our percentage, it's going to end up being 120%. And that's okay. That is the right answer. So if you get that whole number and then your decimal, you convert it to being over 100% for your answer. So you can see the math that I showed for showing my work. I did what I was subtracting and divide, and then I did the decimal that I got, and I converted that decimal to a percentage. I do not want to just see a percentage for your answer. Show your work. So when it's time for us to review after Christmas break, we remember what math we truly did. Plus, it's getting us used to organizing our work. It's getting us used to showing those steps, because when we get to more complicated math, we need to show our work because we can't just punch it all into the calculator. So we're getting into a good habit of showing our work, organizing that work so we can get the correct answers. That is it for the math for today. So you're going to do these other problems. Make sure you finish off this first one, finding what decimal it is and what percentage it is. Do the other ones that we haven't done. We did this one together already, and I'm giving you that heads up that this last one is also going to be greater than 100%, and that's okay. So work on those 8 problems, get them done, and if you get finished before class is done, you can work on your Khan Academy. So I hope you are all well. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful day.